Hey YouTube, this is Don. Today I got another version of the PlayStation 4 called the PlayStation 4 Pro, which came out I believe in 2017, about probably somewhere before the PlayStation 4 Slim was released. Like, not before the PS4 Slim, I meant after the PS4 Slim was released. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. But anyway, so what is this thing? Well, it's obviously an enhanced version of the PlayStation 4 and PS4 Slim. So we are wondering, what's the difference and why did I buy this console? Well, the reason behind this is because games like, say, these two, like Gran Turismo, the Real Driving Simulator Sport, and Call of Duty World War II, those games started to appear in 900p if you were to play it on the original PS4 and the PS4 Slim. Because the developers had to, because you'll definitely need this console to play it in high definition rather than 900p. The reason behind this is because the developers recently tried to, toy around with making the games both 1080p and 4K, but the games couldn't work with that. But it's hard to make the games work like that, so they had to reduce it to 900p. Just to, help make the games work better as far as its resolution and graphics are concerned. So, but if you were to play these games on the PS4 Pro, it'll boost it to either 4K or 1080p. But if you only have a 1080p TV, it'll only go up to 1080p 60 frames per second. But if you had a 4K TV, you can switch between 4K 30 frames per second, which isn't fast, which doesn't show 4K mode isn't really that fast, and high performance mode is 1080p 60 frames per second, which is much faster than 4K mode. I only have this thing automatically set for high performance mode because unfortunately I don't have a 4K TV, which doesn't matter to me. I just want to be able to see my games in high definition. And let me show you behind the case. Any games that use the PS4 Pro enhancements, like what it says on the back of the case of this game, or any other games that uses it, will appear in 900p on the original PS4 and the PS4 Slim, but on this console, it'll boost it to either 4K or 1080p 60 frames per second. These are the only two games I could think of that uses this console, that can utilize the console's full capability. It's got a power button right here, and it's not the touch type. It makes that click noise, which is kind of quiet. It's got trying to find the eject button. Ah, there it is. There's an eject button which clicks. On the front, it's got let me find them. Oh yeah, here they are. 2 USB ports. And the disc slot is on the front right here. It's got a power button right here. Like this. And the eject button is right here. Now, it's got the PlayStation logo. I might customize this with the Hatsumiku sticker that I got in the mail this year. You can get one yourself but only on eBay. That is if you're into Hatsumiku or even know the anime theme of Hatsumiku and friends. If you want to look it up for yourself, be my guest. Hatsumiku's name is spelled Hatsune, and Miku is spelled Miku. Now, you can look at it. I'm not gonna be able to show you what she looks like, but be my guest to look it up. Or better yet, if you want to see her now on this video, I do have a plushie version of her. I'll just go get her as soon as I get her out. Oop, she's attached to the wire. Sorry. This is what Hatsune looks like, just to give you guys the idea. And she looks cute. But enough about her. I only want to discuss about this console itself in this video. I'll talk about her on another video, Project Diva. Now, speaking of Project Diva, there's one thing I have to mention when I interrupt this video right now, is that her games were... The one thing I'm wrong about her games, Hatsune Miku Project Diva F, or even the X version for the PlayStation 4, is that the games were not only released in Japan, they were also released in the US, but they're kind of considered obscure gems because Hatsune Miku stuff and Vocaloid overall, or Project Diva stuff, is not that common here in the US. I have to say, their visibility is almost zero. Usually stuff like this, well, the Project Diva games are usually sold in GameStop. You can even pre-order them there if you want, which is where I got my copy of Project Diva X when I pre-ordered it. But enough about those games, or Hatsune Miku, because I want to discuss about the system itself, like I said. But anyway, there's nothing exciting on the sides, but you can see it's quite different from the original PS4, because it's got 3 plastic layers, which is kind of makes it more unique. Also, the corners are more rounder than sharp and square and boxy. But on the back, the connectors are below the system. It's got an AC adapter, which where it uses practically the same AC adapter cable as the Xbox consoles, like the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, but I'm not sure if it's compatible otherwise. It's got an HDMI output, an AUX port for a camera. It's got a digital out to plug into to a high definition speakers, and a spare USB port. So you're wondering why? Why the third USB port? Well, I guess they assumed the first system, the USB hub that I got for the PS4 Pro, at first instance, the external hard drive wouldn't work with the USB hub. So they had to improvise by putting one in the back, which can be used as a spare for this hard drive, external hard drive I got. Which has finally been released many years ago. Well, not many years ago, but a few years ago, when the PS4 is still fairly new. Sorry, I'm trying to blow the hair off my camera. Sorry. And on here it's got an LAN connector, which can link a couple of consoles together into one building or house. And it's got that removable slot with a screw on it for the hard drive. Now, I didn't swap out the hard drives like I did with the original PS4. I only kept this hard drive and used the external one with 2 terabytes, which should be enough to hold the console over. And it's got those PlayStation symbols underneath, like the X, square, triangle, and circle buttons. There's like 8 of those symbols around the console that are used as feet to put the feet of the console on. It's got the engraved PlayStation logo on it. But anyway, let me show you what you do. I might not be able to show you the box, but I will show you what I got with it. I got this the DualShock 4 controller for it. Now, I didn't get this brand new, but I got it pre-owned at GameStop. I'm serious. It may have been expensive, but in the end, I think it's worth it. Which, I'll share my thoughts about it in you know what? I should have saved it for later in the video. It's the same controller I mentioned earlier on the original PS4. It's pretty much identical. It's just hooked up to the PS4 at the moment, right now. I mean, the PS4 Pro. It's got the same. It's got the same triggers as the PlayStation consoles. It's got the usual X, square, triangle, and circle. 2 analog sticks that click, and they move around like this. It's got the PlayStation button, and it's got a built-in speaker, much like the Wii remote, where certain sound effects come out of this controller. It's got a touchpad, options button, which is your only means of pausing games, and a share button, which allows you to share footage of the game. It's got a D-pad, another analog stick that is identical, and the butler buttons I forgot to mention. And this thing lights up on the back of the controller. Now there's no indicator of which player this controller is hooked up for. And it's got, as you can see, it's got a slot to recharge the controller. It uses a standard micro USB connector, like what you see on an Android phone or an Android smart device that runs on Android. It's got the word Sony on the back. Anyway, let me show you what kind of connector this controller uses. This cable is used on the PlayStation VR, but I just want to show you that this controller uses this kind of connector. And even uses that standard USB so that we can charge it on the console itself. I, on the other hand, use a charging station as well, which I'll talk about on another video. Enough about that. Here's the AC adapter, and as you can see, like I mentioned earlier, it uses the same connector as the Xbox 360 or Xbox One, and the AC adapter looks kind of different from the original PlayStation's AC adapter. Move that out of the way. It's got pretty much the same identical HDMI cable as its original counterpart, as the first model. Uses an HDMI cable like usual. Oh, and that AUX port is for the PlayStation camera. Not the PS3 one, but the one dedicated for the PlayStation 4. So anyway, just to wrap up, if you want to see your games in 4K, or at least in 1080p rather than 900p, then yeah, definitely get this. But if you don't want to put the whole money into it, but if you don't want to put too much money into it, you can always get the PS4 Slim. It's still in stores now, which I'll probably talk about in another video as soon as I get my hands on one that I can, or at least borrow one that I can talk about with. Excuse me. But anyway, I, on the other hand, may have spent a lot of money on this pre-owned one, but in the end, I think it's worth it, because my games look pretty clear now. And like I said, you can do other things with this console too, not just playing games. Like playing music, multimedia capability, not like a computer, but like a mini computer that acts like a room thing for your TV. That can also play DVDs and Hulu, YouTube, Netflix, Spotify, and even play movies or videos or TV shows, which is pretty cool. Overall, yeah, I'm definitely glad I got this system. And it certainly has a good home, and since this is pre-owned, it certainly does have a good home in my collection. So anyway, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and like the video, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video. This is me, signing off.